Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Being the boss sucks?
No. Not about work. And, normally I do like to start these things with a little bit of work talk and, what's been going on with us. I don't want to do that this week.
Oh, God. Oh.
So
I have
much,
a feeling.
yes, there's been a lot of serious stuff and a lot of tragedy this week. The whole entire Nia and Jordan hookup just really grossed me the fuck out. I can't jack that shit. And I've tried. I'm like, yo, why do you even feel this way? Are you a hater? I had to ask myself, hey, Malik, you a hater? Now, I'm not a hater. I hated this shit. All of it.
I had a lot of love for Nia, and yeah.
I never was a huge Nia fan, but I'm not here just to like just shit all over her or whatever. But I'm not jocking this shit. And let me ask you a crazy question, right? So Nia went on this whole entire Jordan rehabilitation tour. We've seen it once D got fired. And how long ago was that? Was that like a year and a half ago? Maybe something like that?
I feel like almost 2 years, because Jordan had a couple season hiatus. So it was like a 2-year situation, I think.
Let's say for right now, 2 years, right? So let me ask you, if Jordan and Nia have been fucking for 2 years, does that make this whole entire apology tour and, PR tour that they did, does that make it disingenuous?
She said that they haven't been hooking up. This is the first time they've hooked up, allegedly.
Let's assume they're full of shit.
But the thing is he was with Tori throughout that time period too. So
and that's right. Nowhere in the history of men anywhere have somebody fucked around on their girlfriend.
Tori would have announced that on the level because she was getting crap for what she did.
You're considering too much.
What's his face?
Let's just consider this one thing.
Who did she hook up with? Fessy. Fessy.
Okay, but listen. If they have been fucking for 2 years, does this make the whole PR tour disingenuous?
No. Because if she's been hooking up with him, if they have been hooking up with them, allegedly, for 2 years...
She was fucking him! She was fucking him! I don't care what nobody says. She was fucking him!
Let me finish talking!
They've been fucking!
Stop talking! I'm gonna punch you.
This is not the first time they fucked.
You're lucky you're in a different state.
This is not the first time they fucked.
Okay,
tell me you believe that this is the first time they fucked.
I don't know. I'm not in their bedroom. I'm not going to assume anything anyway.
Let me finish.
If they've been fucking, if they have been screwing around, it actually makes more sense for her to do an apology tour because she's trying to get her boy over. So to thank him for the D and him to thank her for the vagine. Like, it makes more sense to do the apology tour if they have been hooking up since day one.
But does that make it disingenuous?
No, because it's sincere.
The whole thing is, growth and forgiveness. Nah, y'all was just fucking. Y'all trying to get the shit evened out.
Well, okay.
They've been fucking.
This is the first season I've seen him. Maybe it's because it's an all-star season and he's friendly with 99% of the people there, but he doesn't seem as aggressive and gross as he usually does. Now, mind you, the clothing and the hair is still very gross, but nonetheless, at least at least the porn stash is gone. But anyway,
so in your opinion, your humble Midwestern United States opinion, you believe that this is the first time they fucked ever?
I give no opinions on when people fucked. But apparently, they looked really cozy from day one in that house.
They've been fucking.
But let's look at, they're as cozy as MJ and Joanna.
Johnny. Damn.
Sorry, I messed up her name. Johnny. Sorry. But Johnny has also been known as a boy crazy kind of girl. But isn't she married? And she's all up in MJ's business. So
She be
let's
over there
just say
braiding his hair. She's protecting him real tight. Now, I don't
they
know.
snuggling and cuddling a little too much for me to feel like her husband would be okay with that.
I don't know if that's all the way true. Hopefully next episode we'll find that out. But this whole thing with Nia and Jordan, to me it seems like they've been fucking. Because think about it like this. If they was going to fuck for the first time, that whole little club night thing leading up into that, there was no stolen looks, quick little touches. What, they just got home and said, hey, let's fuck?
Well, they were snuggling in the bed, but the thing is they seem very touchy-feely since the beginning. And her talking about, oh, I'm so invested in him, and I want him to be proud of me.
Threw up in my fucking mouth.
I was like, seriously, that's a little extra. That's a little much.
It's so extra because she finally got back. Because she finally got back on the show. You know what this is? Stockholm syndrome. That's what this is. That's what the fuck this is. Stockholm syndrome.
Is it?
No, probably not.
Oh my god.
I'm being dramatic, but
yeah,
so fucking gross. Ugh.
I mean,
ugh.
You can't fault the girl for getting
I had to ask myself.
O's in.
I was just like, damn, why is this not sitting right with you? Are you a hating ass nigga? And I had to ask myself. I had to make sure. I had to check myself. Am I just hating to be hating, or because I started thinking of the times people fucked and it just seemed wrong. You know what popped up to me? When Rachel started fucking Joey and Friends, when Barney started fucking Robin on How I Met Your Mother.
Hey, they got married.
When Ayana, yes, no, Aya from Real World Cancun fucked the guy from Boston. I think his name was Joey or some shit like that.
Oh,
yeah, when they fucked, and this one. All the time we're kind of like, yeah, these people shouldn't be fucking. But, all's well that ends well. And that shit was just fucking gross. I'm sorry. I'm not jacking that shit. I just wanted to get that out.
I did kind of ick out, and it was a bit cringe for me. I and maybe it's just with the history of me really not liking Jordan. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's not working very well.
Nah, fuck that.
But I'm trying to be a good, impartial podcast host, and I am failing epically because, yes, it was gross. And the fact that I have to see Kayla on my screen as much as I do.
Nah, man. Nah, because listen.
I can't.
The whole entire fucking PR tour, just allow us grace and forgiveness, and we just suck his balls. Like, listen.
Nah,
fam, I'm not jacking that shit.
Naya is a flight attendant. Do you know how much
corporate flight attendant?
It doesn't matter. Do you know
don't diminish her responsibility?
Worse. Corporate guys are the worst. Businessmen are entitled little shits. So she's used to all the crap. So that's where her growth came in, is she has to deal with all these jerk-offs in this corporate, flight attendant role that now she's grown exponentially. I see why now she's much calmer, because if she was Hurricane Naya in the middle of a flight, what the fuck, man? That would be terrible.
I'm not a huge fan, but man, when Hurricane Naya was on the screens, that was a fucking force. I keep picturing? I keep picturing one of those backroom scenes and Naya sitting on the black leather couch, and then Jordan's just like, hey, so you want to get back on the show, right?
Oh my
God! You want to get back on, right? I'll make you a star, baby.
God, please put a little bit of respect in Naya's name.
No,
we've all had hookups that we're not necessarily proud of.
Listen, I'm being dramatic. I don't have any less respect for actually.
Oh, shut up. We need to start the episode.
No, I don't have any less respect for Naya. And I think this is the time to allow grace and forgiveness while they're fucking. Please allow us grace and forgiveness. And just remember, we're not the same people. Bend over. Like, come on, fam. Come on, fam. I'm not jacking this shit. All right.
Did you really go low, bend over?
I said my piece. and I'm ready just to move on. All right.
I'm grossed out.
What's really good, pastors? Welcome to another episode of Love, War, Challenges. I am empty. Why am I yelling? Yeah, hold on a second.
Because you hyped yourself up, man. You're just super hyped now.
I woke up like 20 minutes ago, and I don't know.
Well, no wonder you didn't respond to my my text messages until recently.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just bring this down. What's really good, pastors? Welcome to another episode of Love, War, Challenges. I am MTV Malik. She is Becky at Giftmaster Bex. What's really good? Gang, 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 gang. Becky, besides that fucking horrifying sex act that took place on Paramount Plus, how else, how's your week been?
My week's been pretty solid. Today's been a really irritating day. I work in a service industry in customer service, obviously a call center industry, which let me tell you, today I got every moron on the planet coming on my phones, and it was like grating on my nerves all day. I was like, I need to go home. I'm about to cuss someone out, and it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, I can feel you. And I've been dealing with like bad reviews. Like somebody would leave us a bad review, and I'd be like, "Hey, you left us a really bad review." Oh yeah, because this, that, and the other. Like, yeah, but that's the way it's supposed to be. You're just a fucking idiot.
Just because you don't like the answer doesn't mean it's not the right answer.
Exactly. It's just like, I'm the boss. So when you leave a review, like it comes to me and I was there. You're an asshole. So this is where this is over with. Click. It's just like, fuck did you think was going to happen? Yeah, sometimes people are just terrible. Outside of that, my week has been fine. There's a lot of terrible things outside of it, coming upon the 2-week anniversary of George Floyd and the horrible events that took place in Texas. This is usually when we say
what happened in Texas.
I'm sorry?
Heartbreaking what happened in Texas.
Yeah, and usually this is a time when we say thoughts and prayers, and God, it just doesn't seem like
thoughts and prayers aren't going to cover this right now. We need legislation. We need something in place. This needs to stop.
We're not trying to bum you guys out. We do a podcast. Hopefully we can take you, take you away from some of this, from the tragedies that are ongoing. And we get to talk, we're blessed enough to sit here and talk about, our favorite show. So I say, let's go ahead and do our job and do that. You with that?
Let's get it.
All right, let's get it in. Okay, first off, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but Nia and Jordan fucking was kind of gross.
Back to the point.
Back to the point. I don't even want to talk about the episode. I think we should just break down stroke by stroke how this happened.
I want to talk about why in the hell they brought Beth back, of all people. All the challengers. They're like, yes, Beth.
Because she is so polarizing. She makes great TV. Let's rewind it back to the beginning. The house is chilling. The day off. They're barbecuing. Everything seems all good. Brad is feeling some kind of way because he feels like MJ played his position in the vote. We're just
what was Brad doing with that floaty? Like, he was messing with that flamingo floaty. Like, why are you doing that?
Why is it giving you so much trouble? Deflate it and call it a day. So we also see Sylvia and Kayla plotting on the yoga bitches. And Kayla says exactly what was on my mind. And that was, hey, if these girls were smart, they would see that, we got our whole alliance and our clique right here. If they were smart, they would click up. And I never understood that. And that's something we've been seeing less and less as the challenge progresses. Usually, as the challenge has gone on, you got Johnny's crew. I mean, all the way back to like when Kenny and Evan was there, whatever. They had their whole crew. And in response, the rest of the house would click up and join together and a lot of times that was like West on the other side of or anybody else. Or sometimes you had 2 or 3 crews that would form. A whole bunch of alliances would form. And you see that so much less nowadays, especially with big alliances. The Vet Alliance was, when Tori and Corey and all of them was there, that was a pretty big alliance. But you only see these small 2, 3, 4 people alliances. You don't see these big alliances growing in opposition to these big alliances coming up. And that's weird to me. And Kayla pointed that out.
Well, it is more of an old school thing. The newer school people, because it's an individual game, I think they are just more focused on being an individual and forget, I think, in the long run that having more numbers is valuable. I think that are also hurt feelings with game moves, or because Kellyanne, I think, could possibly move into other alliances. I think Kendall has issues because for some reason people have something up their butts about Kendall. And I don't know what it is that she has done to these people that nobody wants to work with her.
Well, I think Sylvia said it best. You're strong and we're scared of you. So we're going to try to get rid of you.
Yeah, but align yourself with that person first. Get rid of everybody else, and then knock the other person out.
Sylvia already has an alliance.
Well, you want to knock Sylvia and Kayla out. They're younger. The thing is they have a right. This is like the millennials versus like Gen Xers. So, and even some boomers are in there. So let's just be honest with Mark being involved in in that. So they should understand that these younger people, the Jordans, the Kaylas, the Sylvias, the Nayas, these are the ones they want to get out because they're invading and they're about to take over the All-Stars game, which was supposed to be OGs. Well, at the end of the day, these people aren't OGs.
I would count Kayla as an OG. She had a original real world season.
Well, that's not what I mean. Like,
but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like an OG is like, we're talking like pre-challenge days where the games were actually difficult. You know?
Wow.
Let's be honest. The carnival games are not happening on the challenge anymore. And, you know.
Yeah, but
there's a reason why the old school people don't really hang as well.
Absolutely. All right, on to the daily. TJ announces that he's bringing in a replacement. And it's Beth.
Lame.
So off top, MJ, Veronica, and Nehemiah are not really that excited. Kendall may be the only one kind of excited because she feels like, you know, she's coming to like help with the OGs and stuff. But yeah, wasn't a huge fan of the move. But Beth is divisive and she's a shit stirrer. And it's funny because her and Veronica had this dual interview later on. And basically,
they fought on
yeah, basically Veronica called out about like, yo, you just be doing shit for the cameras or whatever. And Beth very intelligently points out like, yo, you was out there having threesomes in front of the camera and shit too. So you were doing shit for the camera too. And I love that.
They're both camera whores at the end of the day, period, number one. Number two, the fact that they were supposed to do that dual interview, kind of like how Naya and Jordan did theirs, where it's like, hey, we can be friends now. But instead of like, hey, we can be friends, they are literally fighting in the confessional where she's like, bitch, don't tell me that I wanted camera time because you wanted camera time too.
But that's exactly why they're here. Same thing with like a Jemmy. You know, that's why they're here. They're here to stir up shit in the house, to keep stuff in the house moving, to progress storylines.
That's why I think they brought her in, because they had to get rid of their two major commentary people, which are Tina and Jemmy.
Yeah, absolutely.
They keep the show entertaining. So Tina, they had to pull.
Yeah, Tina is a one-liner queen. Jemmy loves to talk about other people's businesses. So, yeah, that's exactly why Beth. And with them being gone, it's not like they brought in a huge competitive powerhouse. It's not like Rachel all of a sudden just popped up.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be great for commentary.
No.
At least on the female side. Because that's roughly maybe two of the best female commentators that they're going to have.
Yeah. Yeah, unless they want to pull a different new schooler people with.
So that's why Beth was pulled. That's exactly why she was pulled instead of somebody else. So TJ breaks them up into teams of 3. The name of the game is going to be called High Stakes. So the teams are MJ, Jordan, Nia, Darrell, Kendall, and Veronica. Another team is Kayla, West, Nehemiah, Kellyanne, Brad, Sylvia. And the last team is Derek, Yes, Mark, Beth, Janae, and Ronnie. Now, at first, when I seen them put in these teams of 3, I was trying to size them up, like, oh, which one of these teams are going to be the strongest? Come to find out, that's not how this is going down. They're all versus each other.
Them.
They did, and I actually love that. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Love War Challenges. What's good?
How's it going? This is Derek Kaczynski.
So this is Paulie, and you're listening to Love War Challenges.
What up, Malik? This is Cara Maria. This is a shout out to the Love War and Challenges podcast. You're totally awesome.
Love War Challenges. For anyone listening to this, they're at LWC Podcast.
World's most dangerous podcast.
So they all got to line up, and they got to compete against each other, walk out on the plank off the side of a building. It's a super heights challenge, and they have to do a simple math equation, and whoever wins first gets to drop the other two in whatever order. So that was kind of cool. Now, this was good to look at because it has the heights, and heights add fear, especially for the people who's afraid of heights. So we have some people freaking out. And of course, those drops do look absolutely terrifying.
Can we talk about how Jordan was extra as fuck falling? I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was.
That was extra.
Jordan has always been a lightweight. Jordan, and we're going to talk about this later. Jordan is hyper aware of the cameras, way more than he was in Portland. He's been learning to manipulate them to a obscene degree, and Jordan is always at his worst when he stops caring that the cameras are rolling. Like, remember Total Madness when it was like him versus Wes? And I'm sorry, was that Total Madness or was that the one right after?
It was Total Madness.
It was Total Madness, and they got into it, and that's because he didn't care about the cameras and stuff being there. But when he does, he acts a certain way, and we're going to get into that more. But he knew that when he was falling, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to put on a crazy face and do the most." I can't stand that guy. Anyway, the sabotage is going to be a 1-minute penalty. Brad gets his to MJ, which doesn't excite MJ, and Kayla gives hers to Kendall, which makes sense. And Janae gets really pissy about that.
Janae needs to chill.
But they are making a conscious effort to show how she reacts to stuff happening to MJ. Don't you think?
I mean, yeah. Probably because, listen, they're playing up, and it doesn't help that they're playing into it. That's the thing. You know, MJ and her are all over each other. If they were concerned about what other people were thinking, i.e. maybe their possible significant others, I don't know if MJ is married or if MJ has somebody at home, and maybe he's single and it's on her, and it's just crazy. Like, to imagine that they're like, meh.
Yo, is MJ married?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Damn, man, should be messy. Anyway, so a couple of great moments really stuck out to me during this daily. First off, I did like the daily, even though I hate it when they have to just sit there and do math. I loved how Sylvia was freaking out. Kellyanne was just like, if you want to quit, just go ahead and quit. So I really love that interaction. Darrell fucking freaks out and DQs. Beth, who's been here for 13 seconds, freaks out. Brad dropped West first. And then the winners end up going to be Brad, MJ, and Mark, and Veronica, Kayla, and Janae. But was there any moments that really stuck out to you as either, something you loved, something you hated, something that was hilarious? I mean, I really loved Kayla just flipping every piece and just yelling check until she got that shit. Like, that shit was fucking hilarious to me. What about for you? Any parts of that daily really stuck out?
She's so irritating. I can't. Sorry, everything about Kayla irritates me. I literally want to mute my screen. I want to cover my face. I hate looking at her. She's actually killing it
on All Stars so far.
Because of the fact that she's from the newer challenges, so she's gonna be better at this stuff. But I can't stand her. Anyway,
it's just math.
She wasn't even doing math. She was like, let me flip this. Does this match? Let me flip this. Does this match? It was crazy. It was like guessing. But anyway.
I think maybe the strategy was probably a good one.
It's one of them. As long as you're not a fast mather in that group. But mather. Yeah. Wow. It's my phrase. I don't do math well either, so I would have been stuck up there for hours. I would have been stuck.
Me too.
But anyway. It really wasn't an interesting challenge to me. I think it was boring. Everybody was extra. Like, well, no, not everybody was extra. Only really was Jordan who was extra, and Naya was a bit extra when she got dropped too. Maybe they're a couple made in heaven. Maybe that's why. It makes sense. But anyway, yeah, no, there's just a lot of stupid. It's dumb. They just wanted to freak people out with being high in the air. I'm sorry. I want more. I've always been more of an aggressor. I want more challenges that are more athletic, that are more action, and they're a little bit more nail biting. Not let's do math on a plank and hope we don't get dropped, and that our bungee system will work and I won't die,
Yeah, absolutely. But I think with those things, like, you can't have any kind of, like, real interaction. Like, the whole action has to be in the drop. You know what I mean? Because some of those cords get tangled up or whatever, if there's any kind of pushing or shoving or something comes loose, it's way too big of a risk. And all you need to do is kill one challenger before this whole thing changes. I'm telling you, the day that a challenger dies during a challenge will be the death of this thing. But moving on, Brad and Kayla are going to be the winners. Darrell and Beth are going in because they were DQ'd right away. So we're going to see them in elimination. Back at the house, and I thought this was fucking hilarious. Beth was acting like she was about to invade the fucking treehouse, going over beds and shit. That was fucking hilarious. And then Naya reiterates, the same thing that Kendall said earlier. Like, hey, there's obviously a big alliance forming, and we need to start clicking up. What do you think is keeping these people that's not in the treehouse from clicking up? Like, what is fucking stopping them? How are these conversations not being taking place?
I think a portion of it is that they just don't trust people, but I think there are alliances, but they're smaller. So, like, there's, like, little pocket alliances, like Nehemiah, Brad, Wes, and, kind of the smaller versions. Jordan and Naya are together in more ways than one, apparently. And, MJ and her are all together. Janae are together. And so Kendall and fucking Kellyanne. Now, mind you, why they can't become a power group is just because I think they just don't trust each other. And I think that's just kind of how it plays out. Mostly because Wes is connected to the other three. Kendall's connected to Kellyanne. So they don't, Janae and MJ don't trust either of them.
Yeah, and I think they're going to start really feeling the flames in a little bit. So
MJ's going to be in that elimination all the time if he does not pick up the pace.
No, and I think the people who he consider his friends, I think he needs to find maybe just a couple of more. He's such a floater that he considered everybody friends, and that's not really the case. But
he's
moving
a
on to
mid-tier guy.
yeah,
period.
yeah, mid, but he had a couple chips under his belt, so I give him his respect. So back during club night, Mark asked Darrell, who he wants. Now Mark wants either Wes or Jordan because Mark isn't a fucking idiot. Even though Wes is probably a little bit more beatable in the final, he's still no fucking slouch. And Jordan, if Jordan's in the final with you, you're probably not going to win. If Jordan Bananas or CT is with you in the final, just start preparing for second or third place.
Or Wes.
No, Wes can come in second, and Wes is a little bit more beatable than those guys. But like I said, Wes is no slouch. But I wouldn't say he's pretty much an automatic. I mean, when last time you seen Jordan, Bananas, or CT come in anywhere but first since they've been in the final? Don't even bother. It's been a while. Wes coming in second.
We gotta have
and
Tyler
War of the
come
Worlds
in with
too.
numbers.
Yeah, but I mean, just not even recent memory. So Beth approaches Veronica and they talk about the past. This whole fucking shit was awkward. It was awkward from jump. And
It was
entertaining, but it's funny because a lot of times you see these things and you think they're like, okay, they're gonna get together, they're gonna talk, and then come to some type of resolution. And no resolution was gained. It was fucking awkward, and then they're just like, yeah, well, fucking whatever.
You could see it in their faces, like, what the fuck did I even do this for? This was like a waste of fucking time.
Yeah, we get it. They don't like each other, and they're probably not going to. The whole thing was awkward.
It's just, you look at it, you go, wow, I guess there's absolutely no growth in this one.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No growth and forgiveness this time around. It was such an awkward thing. And then they had the whole little dual interview. And Veronica actually hopped on Twitter and was just like, they cut so much good shit from that interview. Like, I would love to see that sometime. And really, all reality, with all of the challenge content that people want, I don't see why all of this stuff isn't readily available. I know a lot of times, you know, just for content purposes, throw this on your Instagram, throw this on your TikTok. People would love to see this shit. And they would gobble up all of these fucking interactions.
Oh, yeah.
And so Veronica comes in and says, like, Beth doesn't really care. She doesn't care who she goes against or whatever, da-da-da-da. So, you know, that's going to be pretty much a death sentence for Kendall or Kellyanne. And then right before we get to deliberation, we have probably the worst thing to ever happen on this show. That's Jordan and Nia fucking. And I think we kind of covered that mostly for today. I don't think we really need to rehash it again now. What about you?
Wait, Nia and Jordan hooked up?
Yeah. It was gross. Did you see that movie Zola?
No.
So they made a movie out of Zola, and I remember it because I remember when the Twitter thread came out. So, you know, basically the strippers was like, yo, let me tell you how me and this bitch fell out. And it was like a 200 post tweet about this crazy fucking, you know, road trip she took with this other stripper girl, and there's whoring and people shooting at each other, all kind of crazy shit. And they made it into a movie. And it was fucking hilarious. And one of the things they said a couple of times was like, yeah, they fucked. It was gross. And that's how I feel about this. They fucked. It was gross. And I'm ready to move on with my life. Hopefully they won't fuck for the rest of the season and this whole thing can be saved.
Well, hopefully they just won't show it. I'm pretty sure they're going to continue.
No.
I'm pretty sure they went home after his victory and knocked one out.
Listen, I'm writing a letter to Paramount. We don't want to see this shit. They're
celebrating him returning home.
What are they celebrating? Fucking Juneteenth? Fuck out of here. It's just the worst. Even worse, that shit was filmed during Black History Month. Fuck out of here. I hate everything about this hookup. I fucking hate it.
All right, I'm sorry. We need to move forward. We can't. This is like the whole Josh trying to fuck Amanda thing all over again.
Yeah. Let's move on. We're driving it too deep into the ground.
Anyway, moving on to the elimination.
All right, to deliberation. All right, Brad wants to separate logic from emotion. I'm glad Brad said that, because Brad is known for separating logic and emotion. Mark wants to throw in Jordan. MJ wants to throw in Wes or Brad. And
Wes or Jordan, not Brad.
Sorry, what'd you say?
You said Brad.
No, I'm saying MJ wants Wes and Brad wants to save him. That's what I meant to say.
Oh, yeah, I thought you said, wait, you can't send in Brad. Brad's in the fucking...
Brad's in the, yeah, of course. Kayla and Veronica both want Wes and Jordan, and Kayla brings up Kendall, and MJ and Johnny, of course, are going to agree. If you were placed in this authority, who do you think should be the male vote? I mean, because we already see who's in it, so we already know the female vote is always going to be Kendall or Kellyanne. But most of the names being thrown out for voting right now for the males is Jordan and Wes. Who do you
Personally, I would go with Jordan. I mean, personally, because I think it's the law of like averages. If you put that person in elimination enough, he will eventually go home. So
I mean, but we've seen Jordan run through 3 or 4 people before that happening.
And hey, that means you're getting rid of stronger competitors.
Right.
So might as well, push forward, because you think that them putting him against Darrell would be a bad thing if he sent Darrell home? No, because Darrell is still a strong competitor.
I'm glad you said that. You said it best. You were right on the money with that one.
Maybe not as strong as he used to be.
The correct choice was Darrell. Because the question isn't so much of keep throwing Jordan into elimination. Who the fuck is going to take him out? Darrell is one of your best chances. A Darrell, a Derek, maybe a mark considering, depending on what it's going to be.
Because your size.
Exactly. But Darrell was the right choice overall. I'm sorry, Jordan was the right choice because Darrell is no slouch. So if you're going to try to get him taken out, you don't want to keep throwing him in and dirtying up your name, and he's going to come back and fuck your world up. So at the end of it...
He loves doing that.
These are facts. So Jordan is voted in, and I love the fact that we can see Wes campaigning for this. And everything is coming up Wes, and I love to see it. And Kendall is going in.
No.
Now, the only thing that really happened in between then is, Nia talk about how she's emotionally invested in Jordan. And I kind of want to dig into that. What do you think she means by that? That she's emotionally invested in him?
Listen.
Do you think like emotionally invested, like they've been fucking and she's been going on a PR tour to help clear his name? Because she's now sucking his dick?
I think that we should move on from this portion of the conversation.
It's not so much of the gross shit between what happened between those two, people, but kind of the statement. Nia saying, I'm emotionally invested in him. I want to make him proud. Oh my God, that shit is just fucking nauseating.
I mean,
is it because of this whole growth thing and this whole journey that they've been on?
Jordan is an extremely strong competitor. Jordan's respect, it might be coveted by some of these people because he is a 3-time winner, which is rare. He has won a shit ton of money. He's uber competitive. He wins a lot in dailies and eliminations. So maybe she just wants to be more like him and be respected. If you are in his good graces, the less you have to deal with the gross Jordan, which most women don't give most stronger women don't give a fuck about because they're like, whatever, you're not going to lower me to your level. But, going to bed with somebody does cause feelings to erupt, no matter how big or how small.
I don't know. None of this shit just feels right with me. Just all feels wrong. And I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping.
I'm giving it to he's a really strong competitor and she wants to be respected like he is as a competitor. Maybe not as a human and maybe not as a person, but not a single person in this challenge world will ever look at him and say, you're a terrible challenger. You may be a shitty person, but you are an amazing competitor.
Yeah, I guess I'm just not feeling that. I guess I'm just not fully understanding of why, it's so important to her to make him proud. And the whole thing is just weird.
I think she's the only one that knows that,
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to the elimination. This elimination is going to be called Steamroller. And so each challenger is going to be placed in a steel barrel, and they have to move it into their zone on either side. So the ladies off first is going to be Beth versus Kendall. And very early on, you can tell that a person's weight is going to be a huge advantage. Now, Kendall fought her little fucking heart out. And even in her small stature, she is thoroughly feared by the females throughout the house. Because she can hold her own with the best of them. But even though she
almost won. It looked like she was close.
She was very close.
She just lost momentum.
And what it seemed like is she figured out very early and she got very close, and then Beth kind of figured out how to use it to her advantage. And once she figured it out, she slowly eked out the win from Kendall. And it was just so fucking, it was so heartbreaking because Kendall losing, she usually loses because, some bullshit with her partner or, some other shit. And this is her just outright losing. And it really kind of sucked. And for a minute there, I thought she was going to spaz out on her way out.
She looked like she was going to.
I thought she was going to freak out. But also, as much as I love Kendall and as much as it was hard seeing that, she also put herself in this position by alienating a large part of the house by pretty much attacking somebody that she seemed aligned with. And even though I don't think there was any malice behind it, it showed really bad gameplay. And it makes people not want to trust you in this game.
Poor judgment.
And that's kind of what happened. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Love War Challenges. What's good?
How's it going? This is Derek Kaczynski.
So this is Paulie, and you're listening to Love War Challenges.
What up, Malik? This is Cara Maria. This is a shout out to the Love, War, and Challenges podcast. You're totally awesome.
Love War Challenges. For anyone listening to this, they're at LWC Podcast.
World's most dangerous podcast.
Really, really sucks. How do you feel seeing Kendall go out like this?
I think she feels betrayed. I think she feels frustrated. But the thing is it wasn't a fair fight. She's so much smaller than Beth in a very physical elimination. There was just I just didn't see that if she didn't get it, if she didn't start it from the jump, which she did, but she just couldn't cross the finish line. Is she should have just kept pushing, and then she could have won Beth out because she uses her intelligence. She figured it out before Beth did.
Right.
So it's just unfortunate that she wasn't able to, pull that win off. I really wanted it for her. She has been working so hard these last few seasons, and I just feel like nobody really appreciates Kendall. Like in that house.
I feel like in the past couple of seasons, she has established herself as dominating. Enough to the point where everybody is just like, even, check this out, Janae won the whole thing. But, and I said this a million times before, winning dailies is so important because it keeps you out of eliminations less. And Janae has been winning eliminations. Enough to the point so far. Dailies, yes. Enough to the point so far, Kendall has been so dominating that people aren't even focused on Janae. They're like, let's take out Kellyanne, let's take out Kendall. In reality, nobody is even scared of Janae at this point. Even though Janae herself has been pretty great during these All-Star seasons.
I think that most people look at Janae and say, I can beat her.
But that's also because historically, she's been a weak competitor.
Yeah.
Historically. And I kind of love the fact that in this second act, she's kind of finding her own and kind of, and kind of getting the respect that wasn't given to her first time on the challenge.
I mean, yeah, but...
So go ahead, get it out.
No, it's just, it is what it is. The people that I want winning are losing, and the people who are winning are the ones that I don't want to win, and it's really aggravating. But
absolutely, I can feel
that's a part of a competitive game. You win some, you lose some. Sometimes your favorites go out way too early. In my opinion, way too early for Kendall.
Absolutely. So for the male side for elimination, we're going to have Darrell versus Jordan. And of course, Derek is here. He's talking about how this is a major heavyweight fight, and he's 100% right. This is older legend versus a more recent legend, Jordan. And because of the size and everything, I really had Darrell favorited to win this. But I already know Jordan, as great as he is, one of the things you can put on his resume is that he is an elimination specialist. He doesn't lose a lot. And a lot of times there are real great reasons why. I mean, off the top of my head, I could really only think of, Fessy and Bananas really beating him out like that. And I think there's like one more thrown in there somewhere, but he wins these things.
He knows how to, he's a very good competitor, and there's some things that he shouldn't be able to win, and he excels. And it's just like, what even happened here? How did this happen?
So this whole thing starts off, and Darrell, he has a size on him. He gets it all the way to the very edge, like probably just needs like another 6 inches to a foot to get this whole thing won. And then we see Jordan's gamesmanship come out. He just starts talking to him and just stalls him out. And they stay pretty stalled out for, I think, over an hour. And
talking about fucking cookies. How many
Yeah, oh,
cookies
yeah.
you eat yesterday? 3?
I mean-
Man, I should have gotten a cookie yesterday.
I mean, his whole
Really?
thing is he's looking at imminent death, in this elimination. At any time not spent losing, he's kind of winning. So I thought that was a really smart way to play it. And then Darrell's old grandfather legs just give out. He has to jump out of the steamroller, and Jordan goes on and coasts on to win. It really, really hurt to see, and it really sucks. It looks like he was in a lot of pain too. So most likely he has some type of, I'm thinking probably a little bit more than a muscle cramp. It doesn't look like anything is torn, but it looks like he just overexerted those muscle groups, and he just had to jump out. I don't
When
really
your
consider.
body gives up on you, and there's not a lot you can do about it.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a question. Did you consider that as Darrell quitting?
No, because he was locked. Like he wasn't going to be able to go further. He needed medical attention
I
because
agree.
he could have seriously
agree.
hurt himself.
Because I've seen some people just like, oh, Darrell quit, da da da. And I'm just like, no, it doesn't seem like it. It's just like he was looking to avoid injury. But also, the thing about it that sucks is, one, fucking love Darrell. Darrell's an absolute legend. Hated seeing him lose to Jordan.
You don't go to the hospital for just quitting.
Yeah,
He would have tried to walk it off and he would limp around, but he went to the fucking hospital. Guys,
absolutely.
hello.
I don't buy the whole quitting thing. And I was fine with that. But even worse, one, this is Campus Crawl getting blown out all in the same episode, which sucks. Because Darrell and Kendall.
Well, let's look at Jordan. If it was a real world versus road world, if road rules was still around, I could see Jordan being more of a road ruler than a real worlder.
Yeah, absolutely. But those two going out like directly after each other really, really sucked.
Kendall and Darrell. Yeah.
Also, and the funny thing with Darrell is Darrell has, he lost the first 2 seasons in the finals. And we didn't see him get a whole bunch of camera time this season. It almost seems like it was kind of a waste. We didn't get a whole lot of Darrell. Not as much as we probably should have for him to be the caliber of competitor that he is. So
he really flew under the radar this season. Like,
right.
Extraordinarily under the radar.
So I don't think so much as that he was being boring. I think he was trying to play that CT role a little bit. But
the elder statesman?
CT playing the elder statesman role, on the regular season, I don't think that really applies much to this season because almost everybody else is kind of playing the same role. So I think that's why Darrell didn't really stand out much, this episode.
Yeah, I think Darrell's just been hoping to slide by. I think he should have just stood on that platform and dropped. And just, he wouldn't have ended up in elimination if he had just...
Yeah, I think so too.
That's what kind of boggles me, because I get that the fear of heights, and he talked about at the beginning, that's how you knew that this was going to be a heights challenge, because what did they do?
Yeah.
They prefaced the challenge to God, I can't get over my fear of heights. I need to see a hypnoticist to try and get this taken care of.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh yeah, we see how this is going. But it sucks to see him drop out like that, and it sucks that he didn't get the camera time. I'm not sure about how many more seasons he's gonna have left in him.
I mean, he's still very healthy. I mean, look at Mark. Mark's still doing them, and Mark's like, what, 10 years older than Darrell?
He's still a beast, but Darrell got to start winning himself just a bit more dailies because he said earlier that you got to get yourself into the 30 at some point. Yeah, you got to make enemies there, but you're also safe there. So
true. As much as you don't want to vote people in, you just got to.
Yes, it's the name of the game.
Better them than me.
Any day of the week. So, a lot of ups and downs this episode. We got to see some action, got a pretty decent elimination. How would, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank this episode, the 4th episode of the Challenge All-Stars season?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably
On a
give it
scale of 1 to 10.
I'd give it like a 5. It's mid-tier. It had a decent elimination, but overall wasn't like something that's going to be mind-blowing for me. That daily really knocked it down a couple of pegs. Maybe I'll give it a 6 because, Nia and Jordan hooking up really kind of emphasized the drama of this episode with you, apparently.
Oh, that made
you talking about this makes this episode more interesting than me actually watching the episode. Let's be honest.
Well, for me, this episode is a fucking 0. You got Campus Crow out, Darrell and Kendall, some of my favorites, fucking 0. You got Nia and Jordan fucking, which is like the grossest thing I've ever seen, like in fucking forever.
You talking about it just makes me laugh because you're so
gross.
You're so like grossed out by it. It's actually hilarious.
I'm so grossed out. Ugh. Yeah, 0. Fucking 0. This is the worst episode in challenge history.
Here, I thought you were gonna say it was more, like I was giving it too low of a score. Okay.
No. Trying to think of worse episodes. I remember like a couple of episodes during like the Dirty 30 vendettas and shit that we had whole episodes that didn't have any like challenges in it and no eliminations. Those were better.
The Redemption House daily elimination.
God, man, I'd give my left fucking nut for one of those seasons right now.
Oh my God, another Dirty 30 would be awesome.
Another Dirty 30 would be. I think you could bring. I think it's time to almost bring that back. But they're doing the best friend train thing going now. Which people have been people have asked for this. They're going to fucking hate this next season, the Challenge 38. But yeah, 0, fucking 0. This is the worst.
Big fat goose egg.
Could we do less than 0?
Negative.
Like negative 0.02? No.
Negative 5.
Negative 2.7.
2.7.
Because I feel like it would need just a little bit more drama before we brought it to 0. This episode was the fucking worst. In fact, this episode was. I don't ever want to talk about this shit. I'm not even going to edit. Like, I'm not even going to edit this fucking episode. I'm just going to upload it as is, just so we can get through.
Oh, it's gonna get ugly.
It is fucking ugly. In fact, I'm ready to end this episode. Done. I'm done. Anything to say to our fans before we get out of here?
No, I just want to tell them I love them and thanks for hanging with us.
Yes. Also, before I get out of here, I want to give a big shout out to Gamer Vev. That's a homie right there. And a big shout out to Chico Spares. Chico's been with us since the very fucking beginning. And if you're listening to this, just wanted to give a big shout out. He reached out to me on Instagram, said what's up. So I just want to give you a big shout out, let you know we love you. Thank you all so much for listening.
Oh, I talk to him all the time. He's awesome.
Nah, Chico's shit. All right,
hey,
I'm going to close. I'm going to close this out. All right. Thank you guys all for watching. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at LWC Podcast. Follow us on Facebook and TikTok at Love War Challenges. Cop all of your official Love War Challenges gear at shop.lwcpodcast.com, and our website is lwcpodcast.com. Get all of your customizable challenge gear, blankets, accessories, stickers, magnets, face masks, whatever you want. Get all of that at shopthechallenge.com. And make sure you listen to Love War Challenger podcast on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app. Now, why did Bananas always have a tough time doing this outro?
Because he was Bananas and everything was just shitty for him.
Anyway, Bananas, if you're out there listening, come holler at us. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. We are fucking out of here. We'll see you guys next week. And once again, I am MTV Malik. She is Becky at Gift Master Bex. You've been listening to Love War Challenges podcast. Good night.